What is going on, guys? It's your boy Trev the King here, and I am very excited to be bringing you guys week 4 against Nixon and his Washington Charizards. Now, as much as I mentioned Crocodile in my team builder video last week, which if you haven't seen that, not last week, yesterday, which if you haven't seen that, I would go check that out because I really go in depth on my mons. I will briefly go over these mons before I start the battle, but I will not go in nearly as in depth as I did in team builder, so I would go check that out. But as much as I talked about Crook in my team builder, I honestly thought he would bring these 5 mons except Kabutops over Crook. But Crook is, Kabutops does get rocks, but it doesn't really appreciate running rocks on like a rain team. It usually appreciates running, and plus he really would have needed that 4th move slot on it anyway, like, because he was going to probably run Aqua Jet, Waterfall, Stone Edge, and then either Giga Drain, Rocks, possibly Rapid Spin, if he brought it. So he just decided to bring Crook, I guess. So, Nixon is a good coach, and I am still scared, even though I believe I have a very superior matchup just based on my team builder team I built. I'm just gonna briefly go over these mons. It's not gonna give nearly the description you need, so again, I do urge you to check out the team builder. But I have a Trick Room Reuniclus, crazy Fizz Def but also offensive Rocks lead Seismitoad. I have a Assault Vest Venusaur, or an Assault Vest Venusaur with Chlorophyll under Sun. I have a mostly Fizz Def Blissey with enough Spidef to take Hydros from Kingdra rather easily. I have a Sunny Day offensive but also very bulky Zard Y, and then I have a Doublade, kind of standard but with enough speed to outspeed a minus speed nature Tangrowth. But with that out of the way, why don't we get right into the game? So I'm going to lead off with my Toad, as he leads off with Santa Christ, the Tangrowth. Not a very good matchup for me, so I'm going to switch right out into Blissey. He actually surprised me. I honestly thought he might go for knockoff, but he actually did just go for the turn 1 Giga Drain as he knocks off right here. Not the biggest deal in the world. Leftovers would have been nice to take on Torn T a little bit better, because he's probably going to remix Torn T with Superpower. He goes for a Hurricane here, I guess expecting either my Doublade switch, my Venusaur switch, or my maybe even my Zard switch. But all those could take a Superpower, even Life Orb, rather easily. Doublade's immune to it. So right here, this is just kind of like a very stally part of the game where I'm just wishing up. He's just going for Hurricanes and Superpowers. He misses that Hurricane, which is nice, as I get a free switch in my Doublade, because even if he went for like a Heat Wave, I could live and then get Wish backed up. And as he goes into Tangrowth, I don't want to not get my item knocked off just yet, so I'm going to go into Blissey, which takes the knockoff like pro. I think I'm going to set this on normal because I think this is going a bit too fast for my like. So again, we're just going to do this shenanigans, and right here he actually does get a Confusion, and actually I do hit myself into Confusion, which kind of scares me because Blissey is like my #1 Kingdra counter slash check, and I really need it. Luckily I do break out and get the first turn Confusion breakout that I possibly could have, and I do get up that Protect. And right here I don't think he's gonna want to stay in because he'll die, so I'm just gonna go, I believe I just go, no, actually I think I actually go into Doublade. I could have probably set up a switch there pretty easily because I don't think he would have let his Torn T die so early. But right here I'm okay with getting knocked off at this point in the game, so I'm just going to set up an SD, and instead of getting greedy or going for the obvious Shadow Claw, I predict the Crocodile switching right here very nicely, go for the Sacred Sword, only to discover that he is Choppleberry, which allows him to live, because if he wasn't Choppleberry he would have actually died. So nice prep on his part. However, he gets basically not a absolute min roll, but he does get a pretty low roll, definitely lower 30% of the roll, and I'm able to take him out. And Doublade living, this is huge. Now I could have won with Reuniclus from here, although it would have taken a long time, as he reveals the Rock Tomb, predicting my Zard, as I just go into Blissey. but Doublade living will hinder him a lot, because here I go for the Wish. I'm going to admit right there, right here I almost predict him trying to get regen health back and go into Doublade, but I don't want to quite risk it, because, you know, it's not the worst thing if I lose Doublade, but if I could possibly get Doublade back up to full health, then that's great, as he switches in Torn T again right here, and I predict me to go for another Protect, and this time I am going into Doublade, and Doublade is going to be at 100% fully healed. It is missing the Eviolite, but the only thing that could possibly do major damage to my Doublade, that could also do damage to my team, because I didn't really have great switch-ins for Crocodile, is now gone. So right here I predict him to predict the SD, and I'm going to go for Shadow Claw plus Shadow Sneak is going to take out the Jolteon in 2 hits, the combination of those moves. Right here he's just going to go into Toad. I just go into my Seismic Toad, which unless he has HP Grass is a complete counter, because even if he has Toxic, I have Heal Bow Blissey, and right here I'm just getting my Rocks finally, so that Torn T, its Regenerator's basically going to be neutered between Toxic and Toxic and Rocks are basically going to neuter the Regenerator, and then Life Orb on top of that. As you can see, he switches in and takes 30% from Rocks and Toxic, so he only gets 33% back, as he just goes for a Hurricane, I guess predicting the possible Venusaur switch in again, as I just set up a Wish right here, and I don't know what I'd go for here. Oh, I think I just switch right into Doublade again, because Doublade again is pretty much free of risk. So right here I believe I do go for a Shadow Claw, predicting him to not want to stay in, and that does major damage. Not nearly enough to KO Shadow Sneak, as I would need to Shadow Claw again to be able to kill. But right here he just goes for the safe Scald, which isn't so safe actually. I guess he kind of had to go for that, because if I stayed in with Doublade as he went for a Draco or a Ice Beam, then I kind of like his Kingdra was gone. Right there I knock off the Torn, predicting the switch into that, and now Torn can't really do much to me, and right here I predict the Grass Knot, go into my Doublade. I could have gone for a Shadow Sneak here, a Shadow Claw here, but I didn't want to risk him having Heat Wave still, because I believe we still haven't seen his full moveset. I believe Grass Knot, Hurricane, and Superpower is all we've seen. If I'm wrong, somebody can tell me, but I'm pretty sure those are the only 3 moves I've seen from Nixon's Torn T so far. So right here, again, I'm going to go right into Blissey, because this thing completely counters Tank Growth, as he actually does make a nice play going into Torn T. However, he's at such low health with Rocks and Toxic that he's not getting anything back from Regenerator, so he's going to be 3% higher even when he switches in. So without the Life Orb, I really don't fear this Torn T anymore, so I just set up a Wish in its face, as I just go straight into Doublade, as he goes for a switch into Kingdra right here. And again, Kindra's still not quite low enough for Shadow Sneak to kill yet, so I don't want to risk the probably not killing it. So I go into my Venusaur, predicting him not to go for like the Ice type move or even the Water type move. I could have maybe stayed in with Doublade, but I was honestly fine. So right here I'm going to double into my Blissey, expecting to Tank Growth again. Maybe could have doubled right into Doublade, but that was a little bit more risky. Right here he's going to double into Politoed, I believe, expecting my Doublade switch. And right here I'm going to predict him to not go for Scald, or not, maybe not predict, but like I had Wish with Blissey and Heal Bow anyway, so it was really not a risky play at all. There was no rain up, I could have easily lived a Scald. But it turns out to be a nice prediction, as he goes for Ice Beam, predicting either my Venusaur or my Seismic Toad, both which would have taken Ice Beam easily. And right here, even if he has EQ, which he ends up having, he cannot 2-hit KO me, and I can just Shadow Claw and 2-hit KO this, especially with the Toxic. If he really wanted to, he could have probably stopped my Doublade from sweeping him if he switched out here. or at least, you know, stopped it from sweeping him right away. But I'm able, just with the +2, I mean, his mons are low enough anyway, where even if I didn't have the +2 boost, Shadow Sneak would kill anyway. But right there is going to Shadow Sneak the Kingdra, and then finally, to finish off the game, I will Shadow Sneak the Torn-T. And for the 3rd week in a row, we have a very long 45+ turn game. And it's a 6-0 for me, in my favor. Now, even though it was a 6-0, and even though I didn't even switch into Zard or Reuniclus once, I believe, it was still a really, really good. Maybe not a really, really good game, but like, Nixon definitely didn't play horribly. He didn't even play that badly, in my opinion. My team was just really hard to break, and once he got that low roll on Crook with the EQ, and then once he got the low roll with Crook, the game pretty much was won by me, because Reuniclus could do a lot of work, and he couldn't really stop it that much. However, once Doublade got back to full health, and he really had nothing that could safely take it on, because anything that could actually hit it hard was easily countered by another thing on my team. Once Doublade got healed up, he basically guaranteed loss. But Doublade did go 6-0 this week. It picked up all 6 kills, and now Doublade is sitting at the top pretty. Their Mega Lop still has yet to play this week, and I believe going into week 4 it is 9-2. So if it goes 4-0, it will still be #1 in MVP race. But as long as it goes 3-0 or less, Doublade will be your new current MVP of the league going into week 5 at 12-1. What's crazy is it could even be better, because week 1 Cheese Boy wasn't even running Earth Power, so if I'd gone to Doublade there, it would have gotten 3 more kills, so it could be at 15-1. And if I had ran Toxic against Togue, not only would I be undefeated, but Doublade could be 16-0. But you know, still, I'm very happy with how it's done. Like, it's gotten over half my kills, 12 out of my 23, as well as the fact that it's been the last mon on the field for me in every game. If it won 1-0 for me in both week 1 and week 3 against Cheese Boy and Cam respectively, it was the last mon to die against Togue against that Cress, and then, which was mostly just coincidental that it happened to be the last mon I switched into, but you know. And then it finished off Nixon, his last 3 or 4 mons by itself. And then it also killed everything. But, you know, even though I 6-0'd Nixon, I still really enjoyed this game. I know he probably didn't nearly enjoy it, because, again, getting 6-0'd is never fun. But I had a lot of fun prepping for this game and building and playing this game. So I do appreciate Nixon for being a pretty good sport. He was kind of upset about the loss, but he was still a very, very good sport about it, and I have to really respect him for that. But next week we play Dave Fernape and his Montreal Cavalions. That'll be a pretty interesting match, because I don't have a lot of switch-ins for things like Zard and Weavile and Excadrill, so I'll have to work around those. When I mean Zard X, obviously, because I have Zard Y and he doesn't have a regular Zard. But we'll figure out a way. But right now we do have a very comfortable lead in our division as the other two teams in our division. Which I totally forgot to mention. This was actually a division match. The other 2 teams are 1-3. Cam is 1-3 -6. Nixon is 1-3 -9 after this loss, and then after this win I am 3-1 +7 if I do believe. So yeah, I'm hoping to catch up to Togue, who's off to a crazy start this season, so I hope I can eventually catch up to him, so I can maybe get the #1 seed in the conference and get the bye for the first round of the playoffs. But yeah, I think I've rambled on enough. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, hit up that like button. If you want to see more future content, hit up that subscribe button. I have been Trev the King, and I am signing out. Peace.